Oh, of course. I mean, why not? Bethesda are re-releasing Skyrim again, and if you didn't see this coming, then at this point there's no hope for you. I'm going to be honest. This is the most obvious thing that was going to happen of all time. In fact, I remember back when I think GTA 5 got a remaster announced for the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. I said then, how long do you reckon it will be before we see Skyrim again? But to my understanding, this one isn't even necessarily a remaster, but we'll get into that in a moment. So what's been announced is Skyrim Anniversary Edition, which is releasing on the 11th of November 2021 to celebrate the 10th year anniversary of this game. And the way I understand it is that it's not even a remaster. It's just a re-release of the same game with some Creation Club bits added on. I think that's funny because it's Skyrim. It's one of the cockroaches of gaming, along with Grand Theft Auto 5. But before we delve too far into the jokes, let's see what this Skyrim Anniversary Edition actually is. This PlayStation blog article gives us a very good idea. What it says is, for fans looking to commemorate the 10th anniversary of Skyrim, or newcomers ready to take their first step into Tamriel's northern landscape, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition releases November 11th, 2021 for PS4 consoles with backwards compatibility on PlayStation 5 systems. The Anniversary Edition contains the full game plus all 3 expansions, Dawnguard, Hearthfire and Dragonborn, as well as all the enhancements found in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition. The Anniversary Edition also contains over 500 unique pieces of Creation Club content, including quests, dungeons, bosses, weapons, spells and more. So it's not a remaster of Skyrim for a platform that it's already been remastered for, it's the same remaster, however it's going to come with 500 pieces of Creation Club content added in. The Creation Club essentially being some form of microtransaction store for mods, basically. So in other words, paid mods. So 500 pieces of Creation Club content could theoretically make for a very different feeling Skyrim. And apparently the variety in these mods ranges from quests to dungeons to bosses, weapons, spells and more. For example, I presume fishing is one of them because I can't imagine them just adding this in because why not? I'm not going to sit and pretend the Creation Club content's going to add value to Skyrim or even justify people going out and buying it again necessarily unless they really love Skyrim and want to. Then I suppose that does make sense for you to do, but I suppose it won't be stupidly expensive and it will be a fair bargain for what those pieces of Creation Club content will be costing separate from each other. Unless it's not and it's like 200 quid to purchase this Skyrim Anniversary Edition, at which point I'm going to lob a toaster at Todd Howard's face. Though I think it's also always been a little bit of a weird business model, the Creation Club, considering you can go and find those mods for free elsewhere. Even if they're not the same mods, you can still have the modded Skyrim experience without paying more money, and so it's something that the individual consumer is going to have to contemplate over whether or not it's actually worth purchasing. But that's not the only thing that I find that's weird about this. Now, the fact that they're re-releasing Skyrim again is hardly the most unexpected thing. If anything, I'd be surprised more so if they didn't do it at all, because people buy it. Skyrim is a game that people buy. In fact, Todd Howard said it himself, if you want us to stop re-releasing Skyrim, stop buying it, which he said 3 years ago when acknowledging that re-releasing Skyrim has become something of an in-joke. But the thing that I find weird, I suppose, is the fact that it's releasing for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One primarily, with backwards compatibility available for current gen. I don't understand why there isn't specifically a next-gen build straight off the bat with this sort of thing. Surely you'd expect that. I understand having a PS4 and Xbox One version, don't get me wrong, but I don't understand why it's only backwards compatibility on this new generation that's come along, even if the availability of these new consoles is a little bit low at the moment and has been since they released. Surely enough people have these consoles for it to be a reasonable enough venture, and there would have been an opportunity to capitalize on further enhancing Skyrim with this rather than re-release twice, as inevitably there will be a current generation version of Skyrim with even more upgraded visuals and other features, I presume, and they're running out of names for that now. What are they going to call it? The Skyrim Specialer Edition? Or they could call it the Skyrim Mad Edition, or the Skyrim Mental Edition, or the Skyrim LSD Edition, but that's just how most people mod it anyway. And I think that brings us back to my first point, which is what do these Creation Club mods have that modding elsewhere doesn't. Besides from the Bethesda seal of approval to sell and the fact that it probably won't break the game because, let's face it, the game's already fundamentally broken and will likely still have the same issues that it had 10 years ago. And so all in all, I suppose the point feels lost on me. Besides from being sentimental and commemorating 10 years since Skyrim released, I suppose it is cause for celebration. And I also suppose for console gamers especially, this would be the ideal way to experience a more modded Skyrim with more things actually going on, as the special edition had some limits on how many mods you could actually install and so on. However, if I'm being honest, the ideal way to play Skyrim is to play it on PC and mod it so that Alduin is Thomas the Tank Engine. Reservations aside, I love the idea of revisiting Skyrim again. I love this game. I mean, it definitely does have its issues, such as the general bugginess of the experience. I'd love to see Bethesda actually take a crack at trying to fix some of those issues, but we can be naive if we want to. But I do wonder, at what point do you reckon Bethesda's gonna get tired of re-releasing Skyrim over and over and over again? Will this already outdated game still be getting re-releases that don't fix the things that make it outdated in 100 years when we're dead? I don't know, probably. Cyborg Howard will emerge onto the stage and be like, listen up, Skyrim for the mirror. And because Skyrim isn't the type of game where people will eventually stop buying it, everyone will be like, oh, thank you, Lord Howard. I can't wait to play Skyrim on my toaster. By at which point I would have already lobbed at his face because, well, he's a cyborg now. He has to have an origin story, right? The saddest part of all of that is, that's probably what's going to happen, and the Elder Scrolls 6 still won't be released. In fact, that might as well just turn out to be a re-release of Skyrim itself at this point. Imagine that, you sit down to begin the Elder Scrolls 6 when it's finally out, you've got 2 kids, 6 grandkids, 17 great-grandkids, you're on a life support machine which most of your relatives want to switch off, but you've been vibing up until this point because for the past 15 years... Okay... Oh god, I can't do this. You've been playing Skyrim on your life support machine, and then the Elder Scrolls 6 finally drops, and you're firing that up, and just as you do...
Hey, you're finally awake.
And yet, despite that being a pending reality, if everyone keeps buying Skyrim forever, I probably will purchase the Skyrim Anniversary Edition. I'll take any excuse to replay this game for the billionth time, but re-releases of Skyrim is an anticipated joke now. We all know it, we all find it funny to a degree, and I'm also willing to bet that this won't be the last re-release of the game that we ever see. But that brings us to the end of this video. The most expected of re-releases is happening. Cool. Thank you all for watching me talk a little bit about this Skyrim Anniversary Edition, followed by me losing my mind. I really hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead and like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff. That would be super fantastic. Be sure to also follow my Twitch channel, because when the time comes, you can bet we'll be diving straight back into Skyrim over there, and we'll have a really brilliant time. Be sure to let me know down in the comments your thoughts on this topic as well. I also left a sneaky Nazim somewhere in this video. Go and find him and then comment the timestamp where he's at for your own pat on the back, issued by yourself of course. After all, what's the point of a discussion video if we can't use the comment section to then discuss it? But until next time everybody, take care and goodbye.